Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, coming to you on a Monday. And we've got our Monday usual guest, Jason Cameron, joining us. We're going to break down some NFL, NBA, and some UFC, big UFC 272 pay-per-view card over the weekend. A lot of fun stuff to get into. Thanks a lot for joining me as always, Jason. Cheers.
Yeah, no, it's something I've been looking forward to. I was definitely looking forward to seeing the fights.
Yeah.
Because I went out to go see a friend that I unfortunately had to miss seeing over the holidays. So that was a make good, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed watching the fights on Saturday night.
I know you're not you're not a big gambler. I have made bets with you, and I see you make bets with friends here and there. But have you ever been a very big gambler?
No, not at all. I usually prefer my money in my pocket. Yeah.
I've been on a really good gambling streak. I won a bet the other day. You saw me make a bet with a guy. Do you remember the bet that we made? What was that? Yes. Yeah, that must have been yesterday. Do you remember that bet? Oh, not yesterday. No, it must have been late yesterday. On Friday, I guess.
Friday, yeah.
Do you remember bet that was made?
I don't remember.
He swore that Brother Jake was on our production.
Okay. Yes. Now I remember. Yeah. And we both said that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he kept pushing it. I'm like, I don't know. And then I finally went, all right, man, I'm pretty sure he's not on the show, but yeah, go for it.
No, and I pushed you, if you remember. I said, put the money on the table, boys. Let's have some real money on this. Because I knew. I think you knew that too. It's like, there's no way it could be him. How could it be? How could it be?
Like,
he's literally
sense,
like I don't know, like a millionaire. So
I'm pretty sure he's retired.
He couldn't be on the production.
Enjoying life after radio. And he's well done. You and I made a bunch of bets on a couple of UFC pay-per-views ago, and I won a whole bunch of money there. I've gambled here and there, but I heard about a gamble that was made today that just absolutely did not make sense. It was probably the worst bet that's ever been made in the history of sports. A guy put $1,500 on a few parlay bets, and he lost 10 million.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
How?
The worst betting in the history of sports. The worst. And unfortunately, I got some bad news to tell you. It's probably going to hit home to you. It's a guy that you know, that you love, and he's on one of your favorite teams. He decided while he was injured and he wasn't playing, he would throw some bets down on the NFL, on his own team and some other teams. Atlanta Falcons wide receiver Calvin Ridley has been caught gambling, and he's been suspended for the entire 2022 season, losing his entire $10 million contract for making a few lousy little bets.
Wow. Like, just like, did he not do his history and know what happened to Pete Rose? You can't do that.
No.
You literally cannot do that. You can't do that, man. Wow.
Yeah, shocking that he would take that risk, take that chance just for a little bit of juice. I love putting a little bit of money down. It sort of makes the thing a little more exciting to watch at times. I love doing DraftKings, FanDuel, and those. I have to place some bets, like I said off the top, but to place these lousy little bets to run the risk of losing your football career is just mind-blowing. Like, we've seen NFL players make stupid mistakes, but this is just outrageous. This is really, really shocking.
It doesn't even make any sense. Like I can't believe somebody in his inner circle would be like, wait, what are you doing? Yeah, I would stop doing that. Like immediately. Like I would stop doing that immediately. Cease and desist. Like, wow. Yeah.
The NFL is being pretty hypocritical about this whole thing because they have embraced gambling like no other league has. They seem to be getting in bed with all these gambling sites and really putting a lot of attention and getting sponsorship money from these gambling sites. And this guy makes this little mistake and boom, he's gone for a year, and his suspension is indefinite, so it might actually push on more and more and more. He's been suspended for sure 100% this season, but Roger Goodell has the hammer and honestly could end his career over it.
Yeah, and it would be his own ridiculous fault. Like it's his own fault. Like come on, man, you can't bet on your own team. Like you just can't bet. Like like if you are a professional athlete, you can't do that. You can't run the risk, because once you get caught, well, as you can see, you run the risk of like losing your entire career.
Yeah. He only played in 6 games last season, and then he said he wanted to step away from the game due to some mental health issues. Yeah, I guess nobody was monitoring him until it was too late. He admitted to it. He made some parlay bets November 23rd and November 28th of last year through the Hard Rock Sportsbook in Florida. And just shocking that a guy would put his career on the line. And Atlanta's been struggling, but this is going to really impact them, hurt them, because he's a great receiver, has done a lot on the field, but he definitely will not be there this coming year.
Well, hopefully he learns from this, because like this is his prime, and he just wasted a prime year for him. Just utterly just threw it in the garbage. So hopefully now, after this year off that he's just given himself, to learn from this. Hopefully the commissioner won't toss him out of the league, and he can come back and just be better, because now he knows you definitely can't do that. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You should have known that in the beginning, but whatever.
This is sort of another example, though, of the NFL really just going hard on players when they make mistakes. But when owners and executives make big mistakes in the NFL, they don't seem to punish them very heavily, sweep it under the rug, try to make sure none of the media hears about it. They've got the scandals with Brian Flores accusing Stephen Ross, the Dolphins owner, of bribing him, giving him money to throw games. Daniel Snyder has a lot of sexual harassment allegations on him. A Cowboys executive has allegedly been spying on, filming, and taking pictures of the cheerleaders while they're getting dressed. We've got John Gruden suing the NFL, Brian Flores suing the NFL, and all this stuff just keeps getting swept under the rug when it's ownership level and executive level. But when it's players, boom, they throw the hammer down and immediately just toss out a guy without even a second thought. Do you find it pretty hypocritical? Do you find it pretty hypocritical? Yeah. Oh no, you frozen on me? Have I frozen on you while I was talking?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Did you catch what my rant? Yeah, you've been frozen on my screen for a bit here. What should you do? Do you want to quickly log in and out. Jason Cameron. Ah, there you go. I guess he's logging in and out real quick. Yeah, just shocking news today that comes down about Calvin Ridley. Definitely we've seen a lot of horrible mistakes made by professional athletes, but this one is a shocker. Lots of really, really dumb decisions and poor mistakes made by professional athletes, but this Calvin Ridley thing is a shocker. I was just saying the NFL is quite hypocritical over the way that they handle their owners and executives compared to the players. Do you think that this was too much punishment for him, and we should be hearing a lot more about the owners and the executives that pull off these kind of same things?
Ooh, it happens. Froze again.
Yeah. Am I frozen again?
Yeah.
Are you back? Can you hear me?
Okay. You sorry, you froze again. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm sorry, man.
Damn.
I missed that. I missed it.
Okay.
I missed it.
I was just saying that the NFL is very hypocritical on their treatment of the players compared to the executives.
Say that again.
The NFL and Roger Goodell are very hypocritical when it comes to the way they treat their owners and executives, coaches, and when they make mistakes. But when players make mistakes, they really come down hard on them.
Yes, and it's hypocritical. Like, it's like, well, we're going to treat the owners and like their GMs and stuff like this, but the players have to be treated like this. But to a certain extent, I guess I understand why that's happening, because the players can actually affect like the outcome on the field. Okay. And that's why they can't gamble. That's why they definitely cannot gamble. And so I understand that. But it should be equal across the board. And especially if owners are telling coaches to throw games and stuff like that. Now you can't have that either. And if that is true, if that's absolutely true, then that owner probably shouldn't be having a team anymore.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. We'll see what shakes out in the wash there with Stephen Ross and the Dolphins. Okay, tomorrow is the deadline for NFL teams putting on the franchise tag. Most teams seem to be leaning towards a top receiver to put this franchise tag on him. It's $18.42 million this year. And supposedly the Packers are planning on putting it on Devontae Adams. And they have offered, quote, a market-altering money contract to Aaron Rodgers to stay in Green Bay. Absolutely dwarfing, supposedly, Patrick Mahomes' contract, 10 years, $450 million. The Packers currently sit $26.4 million over the cap. So I'm not sure how they can pull this off, but what are your thoughts hearing what the Packers are trying to pull off?
What the heck is market altering supposed to mean? That's what I'm curious about. Like, how much, like, okay, so Aaron Rodgers is pretty deep into his NFL career at this point in time. How many more years does he have left?
Yeah.
So, like, what how much money are you going to give this guy? Are we talking, like, if they say market altering and they say it with asterisks, bunny ears, you talking like 60 million, 65 million a year?
Yeah.
Or closer to 70? Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
can't wait to hear what shakes down. There's been a lot of shocking news in Green Bay and with Aaron Rodgers. Supposedly he has agreed to three different contracts with three different teams. He's agreed to a contract with the Broncos, the Titans, and the Steelers. And he said that if things don't progress properly, he will announce to the Packers who he wants the trade to be made to. So supposedly his agent has already secured those contracts, and he's just waiting to see what the Packers do. If they get Adams, if they address some of the needs they have, and they give Aaron Rodgers all the money that he's wanting, then he won't fulfill these contracts with these other three teams. But I can't believe that they would actually put pen to paper, put these deals in place, and get ready to make the deal if the Packers don't step up and hand him the keys to the house, to the entire organization. We're talking, like you say, 50, 60, 70 million dollars. Like, wow, kind of holding them hostage a bit.
No, not kind of. He is. Like he's literally holding them hostage and saying, okay, so I just need you guys to do everything on my list. I got a list here. Do all of these things, plus on top of that, pay me an absurd amount of money, and then I'll consider coming back. I'm not saying yes yet, but I'll consider it.
Yeah. Amazing.
Wow.
Unreal. Yeah. Shocking. Yeah. They just announced today that the cap will be going up by $25.2 million. It was $182.5 million last year. This year in 2022, $208.2 million will be the full cap. So it gives teams, a bunch more money to play with. All the teams have more than $25 million to play with. So I think we're going to see some unprecedented contracts this offseason. Going to be some just incredible deals. And supposedly some more TV money is coming in at the end of 2022. And the cap's supposed to rise even more significantly going into the following season.
Wow. Just wow. I guess like the NFL is just the league of plenty, pretty much.
Yeah.
But also too, kind of deserving after what we just saw with the playoff runs that they just had and all the amazing games that they had.
Yeah.
Proves once again that they're number one.
That's
period.
True. Yep. Okay, I said Broncos number one on Aaron Rodgers' list, supposedly. They just made an announcement. They're trying to get Von Miller back after he left for a season, went to the Rams, won a title. They are hoping to reunite him with his teammates, and it sounds like he's really considering it.
Oh, he should really consider it, unless somehow the Rams can keep him on their team. But I don't know if they have room to keep him and to pay him the amount of money that he's actually worth, so if that's where because Denver was his home for so long, so it's very easy for him to go back. And then plus on top of that, we don't know what they're going to do at the quarterback position, if they're looking for a quarterback or not. Yeah. So then if they get like one of those quarterbacks that's like floating around, maybe they could improve their chances significantly.
Yeah. Tons of rumors that Christian McCaffrey is on the move. Carolina has been getting a ton of interest this offseason. They are asking for a first-round pick and another vital piece out of any organization that wants him. He's 2 years into a 4-year, $64 million deal he signed in 2020, but he's only played 10 of 33 games since he signed that contract. He has really had a lot of trouble staying on the field. Highest paid running back in the game. He's only 26 years old. Will be 26 years old at the start of this coming season. Would it be smart for an organization to make a deal and get this guy, or is he too injury prone?
I think it would be. I think it depends on, it depends on the organization, depends on where he goes. I think it'd be beneficial to get him, But I don't know if you give him another contract and maybe you just let him go. You just get his services for the duration of his contract right now.
Right.
And see if he can stay on the field healthy before you pull the trigger and maybe give him a contract extension or whatever. But you take the flyer, you take the risk and see how his health is. If he can even hold up, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
But as far as giving him another contract, and if his health doesn't hold up, nope, can't do that.
That's true. Lots of talk about this franchise tag. Deadline is tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. As I said, most teams are looking at their wide receivers to place that on. The Bucks say they're going to make Chris Godwin the franchise tag. Chargers say Mike Williams. Mike Williams had a great year last year, 1,146 yards, 76 catches and 9 TDs. $18.42 million. Not bad at all. Supposedly, Dallas was considering putting on a franchise tag on Michael Gallup, but they are now close to signing a deal for a 5-year deal with him for $50 million. So they're going to get a little bit money off for a long-term deal. They must be very confident that he can come back healthy after his ACL tear last year. He missed half the season last year with that. And sounds like they are moving on from Amari Cooper and they want to put all their eggs in one basket on Michael Gallup. Wise move, or what do you think?
Well, if you looked at stats with Prescott with Amari Cooper as opposed to without Amari Cooper, are glaringly different. Yeah. He's not that good without that guy.
True.
I'm kind of surprised that the Cowboys are making this move and moving off of Amari Cooper, because those two have synergy. They're a great duo. They're a great team of quarterback and receiver, and they understand each other. And so when you decide to give up on something like that, it could be detrimental to the Cowboys going forward.
Yeah. Supposedly they need to free up some cap space. What I've heard, it's one of the reasons why they've decided to move on from Cooper. Not a done deal yet, but looking like that's what's going to happen. We mentioned the Falcons off the top with Calvin Ridley. There was rumors earlier in the offseason that maybe Matt Ryan was going to be out, but the owner and management has come in and say, no, Matt Ryan's our guy. You know how much he makes this coming season?
If I had to guess, what is it, about 45 million?
48 million he's making.
Oh, super close. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like how, and Matty Ryan, like he's got to be, is he in his 40s?
Not quite, I don't think.
Not quite, but he's getting up there.
Yeah, he sure is. Yeah.
Getting long in the tooth.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Falcons are in some trouble, man.
Oh yeah,
I know that's your team. I'm sorry to say they're in some deep doo-doo.
Yeah.
Desean Watson facing another year of no football. His legal situation is still up in the air. There was no real interest in trying to secure his rights and get him moved over anywhere. I guess I'm not surprised. Are you?
I am definitely not surprised, because everybody's just like, I don't know how that's going to end. And it hasn't ended yet. It hasn't been figured out. Like, it's been a freaking year. Like, how much longer is it going to take? Yeah. And also, too, is this going to end badly for you? Are you going to go to jail? All of these question marks. That's why you can't have them on your team.
Yeah. The Patriots made a big announcement today. They're releasing their veteran linebacker, Kyle Van Noy. It clears about $5 million in cap space. They walked away from him once before when he signed with the Dolphins in 2020. He got released by the Dolphins after that season, returned to the Hoodies' clutches, and he's out again. I understand that he's going to have a lot of suitors. He's only 30. And has been in some really good systems in with the Hoodie, and that I think he'll be a good addition as a linebacker for many teams.
Yeah, he would be a great addition to many teams. He'll definitely find a home somewhere for an organization that fits him and fits what he brings to the table.
Yeah. Lots of talk about Lamar Jackson looking for an extension. He's making $23 million in 2022, mostly with bonuses. This will be his 5th-year option if he signs it. Supposedly his management has asked him to sign this extension, go for 2 franchise tags after that, and then he'll be a free agent at 28 years old, and he could possibly at that time be the first $100 million a year guy. He only made 1.7 million in base salary last season, and this year each week he's going to make 1.28 million, so nearly equaling his entire 2021 salary every week this year, and he's only making 23 million, which is half of what some of these top guys are making.
Yeah, so he's probably going to listen to his agent and say, I am going to cash out large in literally after 3 seasons. And he deserves that money because he is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, especially when it comes to running the ball. So
shocking when I saw that he's only made 9.8 million in bonus and salary in his last 4 years combined. This year he's gonna about 2.5 times that. Kirk Cousins did that same route where he got the franchise tag after signing his 5th-year option, and he got 3 years at $84 million. And that's Kirk Cousins, who's kind of, not an elite top guy. So look out, especially when this salary cap keeps rising up year after year, unprecedented levels. The NFL's going to have some amazing contracts coming up in these next coming years here.
It sure is. We're going to be talking about money where you're just like, it's going to get ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's going to get ridiculous.
Yeah,
I look forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I started off talking about football and Calvin Ridley in trouble here. We just got news today that Richard Sherman will avoid jail time. He pled guilty Monday to 2 misdemeanor charges and a traffic violation that was all related to a July domestic incident he had with his fiance and his wife and his in-laws. There was a lot of charges thrown at him. Luckily, he will avoid any further detention unless he violates the conditions of 2-year monitored court supervision, they call it. He was ordered to pay $500 for the traffic violation, $1,300 in fees, and supposedly he owes some restitution to his father-in-law. Good that this didn't go farther, because they threw criminal trespass at him, domestic violence, malicious mischief, whole bunch of charges related to his driving. And it looked ugly for a little while there, but luckily he's been able to avoid jail time and will just be monitored for a couple of years. As long as he can stay out of trouble, he won't see any further jail time or anything like that.
As long as he stays out of trouble.
Yeah.
That could be very difficult for him, or it could be very easy. I guess only time will tell.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. We had a big UFC card this weekend, UFC 272. Very anticipated because of the hatred, the animosity, the absolute anger that was coming out of these guys. It used to be best of friends, roommates, teammates for many years, cornered each other, really kind of grew up in the sport together, and got a hate on for each other. Everybody was really excited and looking forward to this because, sometimes you really want to see that anger and that frustration, and you really want a guy to beat down a guy, but this was a one-sided affair. Very, very boring fight. Masvidal just didn't really come out with that anger and the type of attitude that we've seen him before. And Covington was able to take him down 6 times, grind out a win, and really left a sour taste in my mouth. I hate this guy. I think he's a black mark on the sport, and he just really frustrating to listen to see. I just wish somehow somebody would have really knocked him out, taken him out of the sport. But what were your thoughts watching this main event on Saturday night?
Severe disappointment. I am like you, not a fan of Colby Covington, but I cannot deny his talent.
Sure.
I knew going in that Masvidal better have had worked on his cardio and better be in for a long night, because that's the one thing that this guy does. He will bring it to you. He will be on top of you, will smother you, and he will be relentless with his takedown attempts over and over again. All of these things, not something that Masvidal didn't know that was coming at him. He knows all of this stuff is going to happen in this fight. And it just didn't matter. It seemed like it just didn't matter. Like, Covington was able to impose his will at pretty much every level. The only time Masvidal had a chance was when he caught him with a hook in the 4th and dropped him to a knee, but did not pounce on him. Didn't pounce on him. Kind of let him off the hook after that. And then Covington just kind of went through, recovered, and just did what he was doing throughout the course of that fight, which is smother and dominate in the grappling aspect of the fight.
Yeah, it was very weird when he rocked him in that 4th round, put him down to a knee, got the knockdown. But it just seemed like almost he didn't even notice it somehow. He just seemed dazed. He wasn't, he didn't go after him, didn't attack him, didn't throw anything, just actually seemed to back up and let Covington, keep throwing and doing what he was doing. So I don't know what was wrong with Masvidal. It was very weird. I just didn't see this type of performance out of a guy that really seemed to hate the other guy across the cage from him, but really didn't show much emotion at all. They jawed at each other a little bit after each round. The ref was in the middle and have to, separate them kind of bit. But other than that, it was really disappointing after it was so hyped up and you thought, wow, this is real bad blood. This will be fun, but did not live up to the hype at all. Did not live up to the hype. I see. Jason has frozen again. Man, these technical issues, rearing their ugly head again. It didn't live up to the hype. There, did it, Jason? It didn't live up to the hype.
No, it did not live. No, it didn't live up to the hype at all. Like, it just really didn't. I wanted to see a really knockout, drag out war. I wanted to see some, like, just a stellar fight, because sometimes animosity will bring out the best in people, where there's like, no, I refuse to lose to this person. I refuse. And I just didn't see that utter refusal in Masvidal's game on Saturday night. I just didn't see it. So.
Yeah, it was disappointing. And, I feel that Colby Covington really puts a bad name on mixed martial artists. I always love that they have a 5-round battle like that. They usually hug each other, sportsmanship. They usually praise each other in their post fight comments. I just really dislike when a guy is like this and he gets so much media exposure, so much press, and it's just a guy that's just spewing hate, says a lot of really ridiculous, stupid things, calling out Dustin Poirier, where are you, swamp trash? And it's just frustrating, because this is a sport that I love, near and dear to my heart. I just respect so many of the guys in it that are really good people, really good sportsmen. And, they know that the guys are coming in there risking their lives, and they got a lot of respect for each other. But this guy shows nobody respect whatsoever.
Nobody respects. And, like me, I want to say at one point in time in his career, he did do that. He did show people respect. But apparently, since he wasn't making the effect that he wanted, came up with this character that all of a sudden became who he really is. I don't know if that was always under the surface, this guy that he now is, but it's just, I don't like it. I don't like it. Like, he just seems like a very disgusting human being to me. But I know somebody who does love it, who loves it. And that's Dana White. Uncle Dana just like, yeah, woo. The worse you are, the more money you make me. Good enough.
Wow. Okay, so what's next for both of these guys? Where do you see them go?
Okay, so for Masvidal, I don't think this loss actually really hurts him all that much. I think he can still make plenty of fights with him. I know Conor has been popping off a little bit lately, wanting to possibly move up to 170, possibly fight Masvidal. That could be a real fight. That could be something that could happen. And as for Covington, unfortunately, he's in this weird situation where he's like he's a gatekeeper, man. That's who he is right now.
Right.
He's still number one, but nobody has any interest in fighting Kamaru Usman again.
Right.
He's already lost twice. So now you have to get past Covington to fight Kamaru, but who's gonna do that?
Yeah. I guess the only thing he can hope for is that Leon Edwards beats Kamaru, and then I guess he probably gets the title shot if it's Leon.
Yes, that is literally, or whoever challenges the champ, Leon or the next guy, if Kamaru beats him, whoever can beat that guy, then Covington can try to come in and beat him. But if Kamaru never loses, well, that's too bad.
Do you see him moving weight classes if he has to wait a few years for another title shot?
Oh man. Oh, okay. I think he's too small to move up to 185. I don't think that's good for him. And I don't think he can move down to 155. I think that would deplete him way too much. Yeah. So yeah, he's kind of in a no-win situation again. I think that's 170 is where he's got to be.
Do you think the UFC will expand to have more weight classes in the next 3-4 years? Do you see that being a possibility, that there'll be more weight classes added?
There should be. There should be, because like some of the gaps are just way too big. 185 to 205, 20 pounds. 185 to 170, 15 pounds. They should have more weight categories. I don't think it should go to the extent of boxing. That's like ridiculous. That's like every 3 or 4 pounds. So don't do that. No. But I think finding some middle ground in between these like larger differences in weight, I don't think that's a hard ask. Yeah.
I think Masvidal is still probably number 2 guy that moves the needle the most in the UFC. Is that a shock that a guy that he's lost his last 3 fights, he can still move the needle this much?
No, of course not, because Nate Diaz does the same thing. We all love Nate Diaz. It doesn't even matter if he's like, oh, lost that one, but it's like, sometimes it's the way that a man loses, which all of a sudden can still elevate him. Now, that loss doesn't elevate Masvidal, but in my humble opinion, I don't think it hurts him that much either.
Okay. Okay, let's switch to the co-main event. It was supposed to be Rafael dos Anjos against Rafael Fiziev. Fiziev ended up getting COVID. He had some visa issues their first go-round. Then he got COVID, had to be replaced. Renato Moicanos put up his hand and said, I want to come in. Was the replacement with 5 days notice. Do you think he regrets it at all? Because he's going to be sore for weeks. What did you hear? Wow. Do you think Renato Moicano regrets taking this fight against RDA? Can you hear me now?
I can kind of hear you. Please go ahead. Okay, there we go.
Do you think Renato Moicano has any regrets taking this short notice fight?
Maybe a little bit, because he got utterly wrecked in this fight. Like, he didn't stand a chance. Like, Dos Anjos really took it to him, to the point that, you know, the analysts were calling for the fight to be stopped in the third round. I kind of looked at that and said, no, he's really getting hurt in there. Maybe it is time to stop the fight. He took a risk. And whenever anybody takes a short notice fight like this, you take the risk. You run the risk of it's all or nothing sort of deal. And unfortunately, Moicano got nothing, but I think he still got something. All right. He didn't win the fight, obviously. He kind of got dominated and almost got stopped. But the ref didn't stop the fight. And I want to say this: the man showed a warrior's heart, especially in that last round, which I kind of feel that I think he won that round. Like, and that's amazing to say that, because he got pounded into pace for 4 rounds.
Yeah, so, that was amazing. Yeah, he actually came back, because they were so close to stopping it. They were, wanting to, the commentators were like, throw in the towel, guys. He's not going to win. There's no chance. And then all of a sudden he rocks RDA and has him hurt, and won that 5th round. That's why sometimes I just love that referees give a guy as many chances as possible, to pull it out. That would have been one of the biggest comebacks we've ever seen.
Absolutely would have been one of the biggest comebacks we've ever seen. And again, that loss, like we were talking about before with the last fight, that loss elevates Moicano. That doesn't take anything away from him. It definitely does not. Yeah,
it's amazing. RDA was one of those top pound for pound guys for many years. He was just knocking guys out left and right. He had such a massive winning streak. I think it was like 11 in a row or something like that. Only Khabib was in the middle of that, and a lot of people are sort of sleeping on him. I think he's looking as good as ever.
Oh yeah, he looked dominant. He looked good. He looked like the RDA of old that we've seen. He looked excellent, and there was every sort of level that you could fight on in MMA. Dos Anjos seemed like he had it on Moicano. He was like just a step ahead in everything, except for that 5th round.
One of the shocks of the night for me was the way Bryce Mitchell handled Edson Barboza. Barboza threw his patented kicks early, but Thug Nasty said, no, I'm dominant. I'm taking you out. And he really showed that he's a force to be reckoned with. This guy was great on Saturday night.
Yeah, his grappling superiority, so super dominant. Edson Barboza is good enough that he shouldn't be dominated like that, but he was utterly dominated. Had no chance. Like that, last time we saw Barboza get dominated like that was Nurmagomedov and Kevin Lee.
Yeah.
And Mitchell doesn't look like those last 2 guys, but still dominated him in the same fashion. I was utterly impressed.
Yeah. 175 ground strikes he threw in the fight. Over 11 minutes of ground control. And the scores were 30-27, 30-26, and 30-25. That was amazing. He just imposed his will. And this is a guy out of Arkansas. Never really hearing too many guys from Arkansas that are becoming some of the elite fighters. And that featherweight division has hell of a lot of great fighters in it. And look out, Bryce Mitchell is on his way up.
Yeah, Bryce Mitchell is on his way up, and he put the division on notice by that dominating performance on Boza.
Yeah. What about Trailblazer Kevin Holland? Love him. Always fun to watch him. He had a up and down first round, and then the second round, once he landed that shot to Cowboy, dropped him and then just swarmed him. A few short shots and then some elbows, forced Chris Tognoni to stop it, TKO. And yeah, wow. It was a lethal end to that fight.
Very lethal, kind of sudden, actually, to be honest with you, because the first round was going Oliveira's way, and he ended it with a rear naked choke attempt that he was trying to sink in at the end of the first round. So, yes,
Holland
exactly.
Was like, no, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
But it didn't look good, right? So Oliveira was in a very dominant position, and the momentum was going his way. Then Holland took it all back when he hit him with that hook that knocked him down, and then the ground and pound to the KO victory. But for me, when I remember watching that fight, it seemed quite sudden that all of a sudden Holland just made his move, and then the fight was over.
Bam. Yeah, it was quick, just very, very fast. Yeah, just a short right hand, boom, knocked him back against the cage, and fight was over quick. Yeah, it was. You were wondering, yeah, this looks like Oliveira might have the upper hand, but yeah, quick shot, done. Okay, the fight that started off the main card was a heavyweight battle, and we've got the Polar Bear against the Prince of War, and yeah, luckily the Polar Bear is not extinct on this evening. They have a lot of troubles up in the north because the polar ice caps are melting, and they're not, getting enough places to feed on their seals. But this night, boom, the Polar Bear fed on Greg Hardy, and I don't know, man. I think I'm done with the Greg Hardy experiment. I think it's time to cut him. I think he can go somewhere else if he wants to stay in mixed martial arts. Go on the regional circuit, learn how to stop people from taking you down, and get some proper MMA training, not just striking. You got to be able to handle takedowns and ground game. Yeah, I'm done with Greg Hardy. Are you?
Yeah, I would say that the experiment is now over. I'm sorry, Greg, but I kind of put you in the same category as CM Punk. Better fighter, by the way, but still in the same sort of category. And Spivak, hey, I give him all the credit in the world, which is just like, okay, so this guy's got a lot of power, but he can't grapple. So I'm just going to put him on the mat.
Yeah. And
then he did actually something that was very smart, which is, then I'll let him get up. And so he battles up, take him down again.
Yeah.
And totally sapped his gas tank after that. Yeah. And then it was just a lot easier for him to get the stoppage and get the win. Done.
He was 291 pounds on Tuesday when he stepped on the scale. So he had to get back down to 266 within 3 days. Obviously, to me, that's not what a mixed martial arts artist should be doing. You shouldn't be 3 days, having to drop, another 25 pounds and trying to be ready to fight the next day. It seems insane.
No, that's ridiculous. He should have been at his weight a week ago.
Yeah.
A week before you have to weigh in. Your weight should be on point. It should be. I don't understand the logic of that, to sap yourself to the extent where you have to lose 30 pounds before you get into the octagon and fight for your life. Really? Yeah. Sounds incredibly smart.
Yeah, no, yeah, he he was a force in the NFL for a little bit. Tried mixed martial arts at the highest level. They've given him all the chances in the world, but he's 4-5 in the UFC and 3 losses in a row. I don't see very many guys, not just not taking him down immediately. He's so weak at that you would just automatically do that. Most heavyweights, that are in the UFC, know how to take guys down, and that's all that's going to happen. So what more are we going to see from this guy unless he changes his game a bit?
Yeah, unless he changes his game, but I think he's had a couple years to do that and still no change.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I think the experiment is over.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the feature prelim. Jalen Turner really amped it up in the second round, like we talked about with Kevin Holland. Jamie Malarkey was swarmed, overwhelmed, broken face, everything. And the tarantula really showed how lethal he can be.
He was, the thing that struck me the most in this fight was just how much bigger Turner seemed than Malarkey. Like he seemed like a giant compared to Malarkey. No. And he used that him being physically imposing, and he dominated him physically. He manhandled Malarkey. Sure did. Yeah. Manhandled him.
Yeah.
It was not close. This was not close.
Yeah, and that's 4 stoppages in a row for Turner. Really looking great. His record's not amazing, 12-5, but 9 knockouts, 4 stoppages in a row now. And he looks big for that division. And look out. I'm hoping that he gets some really good competition next.
Yeah, me too. I'm definitely keeping an eye out for him moving forward. But he took out a really tough fighter, Malarkey, and he made it look easy.
One of my favorite moments of the whole entire evening was when Marina Moroz ended up beating Maria Agapova. Sorry. The Ukrainian fighter, the only Ukrainian female fighter on the roster. She was the underdog going in. This is actually also a bitter rivalry. They used to be teammates and friends, and they hate each other now for some reason. And I was really happy to see Moroz get the victory, dedicated to her family and the people of Ukraine. She said she's been receiving so much love and support from people. She was in tears, and I don't think that too many people had dry eyes after realizing all the things that she's went through to get this victory.
It's amazing that she was able to even fight, if you think about it, considering her country's at war, her friends, family, loved ones are all in danger. But she was still able to go out, compete, and get a dominant win and a dominant performance win at that. So I was impressed. Disciplined performance, smothered us from round 1 to round 2 until she finally took Agapova out with the submission win. She looks fantastic. She looked great.
Yeah, I was absolutely thrilled with it. That we've seen a few Ukrainian athletes having to play with, compete with heavy heart and worry that must be there for your friends and family. They're all in severe danger. This was a great night, and it was nice to see the American crowd really get behind her, give her a massive cheer, and everybody realized what it took for her to even just be there, and then get her hand raised in victory. It was a special moment. I really loved it. I never know what you hear. I never know what you hear. I never know when you freeze. I don't know if when you freeze, I freeze at the same time, but I can see you moving again now. To me, that was just my favorite moment of the evening. Hey, did you hear anything there? Damn it, damn it, damn it. Okay, I need to just hold up a sign. Talk
Oh man.
now, Jason. I'm just holding up a sign. Talk now.
Yeah.
It's on you. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay. What did you say?
I just said it was my favorite part of the evening. That victory.
No, yeah, that was my favorite part of the evening too. It was great what she had to say, the sentiments that she had for her countrymen as they go through this, I don't know, meaningless war. But I, yeah, I couldn't be happier for her win, and my hope is that the Ukrainian people don't have to go through this war for a prolonged period of time.
Yeah. Sad to hear that Daniel Cormier wasn't on the cast because his mother had passed away. Our thoughts and prayers go out to him. Super great guy, great champion of the UFC, and love hearing his commentary. Yeah, it was sad to hear that his mother has passed away, and he was doing funeral arrangements on Saturday night.
Yeah, that kind of that part sucked because Daniel Cormier is such a great human being, a great person. It is always a tough thing to go through when you lose a loved one. So our thoughts and prayers are with the Cormier family.
Early prelims, kind of noteworthy for a couple of cheaters that came in. Khabib was in the corner for these two guys, but I don't really want to put any glory on Russians right now. I think the world has to really put sanctions on them, not only economically but sports wise. But they did make the announcement that Khabib is making the Hall of Fame. Let's talk about that on another time. Let's talk about it when he actually gets inducted. Great moment for him, great moment for his family, but I'm really not wanting to praise much about the Russians these days.
Understood. Like I said before, I don't know why this war is even happening. I'm going to be honest. I don't see what Russia is going to gain from this. I just see the loss of human life, which is going to be continuing as these aggressions keep going on, and that's the real loss here. Yeah.
Any other comments you want to make about the early prelims?
Only thing I'd like to touch upon was the Rodriguez versus Zionan fight. I thought that was an excellent fight. I thought that Zionan looked fantastic in the first half of that fight, using excellent footwork, used her angles to dart in and out. But then Rodriguez made the adjustments for the second half of the fight, right. Listened to her corner, and managed to win a very, very, very close fight. Split decision win, I believe, against like the top featherweight, the top women in that division, both women. And now that Rodriguez won, she's got to be considered to be right up there for a title shot, if not one more fight before a title shot.
Yeah, there's lots to talk about that. I think that Carla Esparza is going to be fighting Rose Namajunas next. And then Marina might be in that mix to fight either one of those girls. So she's risen up the ranks. So it was a big victory. I kind of thought Zionan actually won that. I thought she won the first two rounds. And I was, even though Rodriguez definitely came back in that third, I didn't think she did enough in the late part of that second round to take that round. But as he said, it was a split decision, and Rodriguez got her hand raised, and nothing else we can do about it now.
No, nothing else we can do about it. Rodriguez won, but it was a very, very close fight. Very close fight.
Let's just briefly touch on the card this coming Saturday, early card. Our main event is Thiago Santos against Magomed Ankalaev. Santos, former title challenger, fighting another guy that's up and comer. One of those guys that from that Dagestan area, and having a chance at a main event card here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I think somebody's going to get knocked out. I do not think this fight will go to decision. Yeah, somebody's going to sleep.
Yeah, that's true. I love Marlon Moraes. Looking forward to him fighting. Alex Caceres, Bruce Leroy, always a lot of fun. He brings a lot to the table. That opening fight on the main card, Alex Pereira and Bruno Silva, should be phenomenal. We get to see T-Rex again so fast against Drew Dober. What fights are standing out for you on the card?
I like the co-main event, Marlon Moraes versus Song Yadong. Those guys are just going to battle it out. Nobody's going to be taking a step back.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm intrigued by the Sadiq Youssef Alex Caceres fight. I think that's also going to be another sleeper hit. Actually, one more fight too that I would really like. I love the Khalil Roundtree Carl Roberson fight too as well. Yeah. I like all three of those fights.
I love Roundtree. Yeah, he's fun to watch for sure. Yeah. And on the prelims, Semmelsberger, great fighter. Don't know too much about AJ Fletcher, but I'm sure at 9-0 should be a good competitor. We got Canadian Jillian Robertson on the card. Trevin Jones, always love to see him. And yeah, on and on. Should be a hell of a card. It's nice and early. Prelims start at 1:00 Pacific, and main card starts at 4:00 Pacific. So you'll be able to, we'll be able to watch the fights and still have a Saturday night to go out on.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. And it's a good card. Really strong fights, man. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's UFC Vegas number 50. I think we've had 50 cards from Vegas since the pandemic.
Yes.
Pandemic's been going like 21 years now or something shitty like that. How long has the pandemic been going? Is it 21 years, 22 years? How long has it been?
I just lost track. It's just ongoing. It's ongoing.
And relentlessly ongoing. Yeah. Let's talk about the NBA a little bit before we call it a night. There have been a lot of jockeying for positions in that Eastern Conference. A lot of the teams are looking pretty good. The only team that's really fading right now at this moment are the Chicago Bulls. Lost 5 in a row. The Heat have taken the top positions. Sixers and Bucks are right there, second and third, basically the same record. Bulls have fallen off a bit, but Celtics are on their heels. What's intriguing you right now about the top of that Eastern Conference?
What's intriguing me right now is just how close it is. Like the amount of games between second and sixth place in the East is like 2 games. It's like the parity that's going on in the East is ridiculous. And the Heat have only slightly pulled away from the pack.
Yeah.
Only slightly. So I am super looking forward to the Eastern playoffs when the NBA hits that, because I think you want to watch some great basketball. You want to watch like the closeness of these games. I think watching the Eastern Conference is where you want to be. That's the one that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Now, and then as for the Western Conference, Suns are still good. And look at that. They're so good.
8 games.
They're so good.
Yeah, it's amazing. Hey?
Yeah.
8 teams up. And even without CP3, they've been just able to just keep rolling.
Yeah, they keep rolling. And also, too, the last game I just watched, which they won, they were missing CP3, they were missing Booker, and they were missing somebody else. But they just keep rolling. I'm super impressed with the team. Yeah. I'm super impressed with them. Warriors, hitting a rough streak right now. I know what that's due to. It's due to the fact that their defensive stalwart and their defensive strategist genius, Draymond Green, out with the team right now. That back issue that he's suffering from is now a little bit concerning because he's been out for quite some time.
Yeah. I heard today that he's targeting March the 14th to come back. So 1 week today. Hopefully, he gets back on the court. They've got 2 wins in their past 10 games, 4 in a row losses. And their record's still amazing, 43-21, but they definitely have hit a rough patch. And hopefully he can come back a week from today and they can turn this around. I think the Suns are locked for first place in the whole league, in the West for sure. Grizzlies have had a phenomenal year. I don't think many people suspected they would be at the top of the conference like this, one of the best teams in the league. But Suns are the class of the league. But Warriors get healthy. Klay Thompson just doesn't seem himself. I think he's had only 1 game where he scored 25 points or more. I think he's still winding into shape.
Yeah, he's still working his way in, and he's gonna figure it out. I'm actually not that worried about it. Like, it's just gonna take him some time. You have to remember he hasn't played NBA basketball for 2 years. So it's gonna take him a little bit of time to get his legs underneath him, to get used to the speed of the game. But it's gonna come. And I'm very confident in that, in his abilities.
Yeah. James Harden hit a 3 this evening, and he tied Reggie Miller for 3rd all time, 2,563s. Ray Allen is 2nd place with 2,973, and Steph Curry keeps pushing it up and up and up. He sits currently at 3,101, but James Harden tied Reggie Miller for 3rd all time, 2,560. Yep,
that's amazing that he's already done that. He's definitely going to be catching Ray Allen, obviously. Never thought I would see that in this modern era, that we'd see 2 guys surpass Ray Allen, of all people, in threes.
Yeah, it's shocking and incredible. Yeah. And Harden's looked phenomenal since he joined the Sixers. He definitely was sulking and not playing to his full potential while he was in Brooklyn. Looks like he's been rejuvenated again.
It's amazing when just a change of scenery will all of a sudden get a guy to, I don't know, try his best and, play. Yeah. I'm always amazed at that. It's just like all of a sudden, hey, your hamstring, it's fine. That hand thing that was wrong with, no more hand problem either. You're healthy. Amazing. That's just amazing. That's so cool. That's so good. But here's the one thing, the one person that's still not healthy or not good enough to play with the team yet, or who was it that they said? He's ramping up for practice. Not to play the game, but practice. That was the guy that Harden was traded for, Ben Simmons.
No.
Hasn't got on the court yet.
Yeah.
Odd.
Very weird. Hey, got a setback from sleeping on the couch too much. Sitting on the couch too much, got a setback. Very odd, very weird. Yeah, it's definitely not working out well for Brooklyn right now, this trade.
No, of course not, because we're just asking you to play. Do you think you could play? I don't know. Maybe we are asking too much.
Pretty bad. Julius Randle got whacked with a $50,000 fine today. It's called initiating an on-court altercation. So he shoved Cam Johnson of the Phoenix Suns. Then he made contact with a referee. And then they tried to do an investigation in it, and he said, not going to talk to you, not interested in giving my side. So $50K, a little bit later in the wallet, bank account goes down a little bit. But yeah, that's quite a hefty fine.
It is kind of, like he had to go into his sock drawer and pull out that money to give to the league. But yeah, anyways, you can't do that. League gave him a little bit of a fine, so hopefully he learned his lesson. Yeah, probably not. But yeah.
We saw some amazing performances this past week. Both, not both. LeBron, Jason Tatum, and Ja Morant all scored 50 points. That performance by LeBron was absolutely amazing in the win against the Warriors. But he is out tonight and will miss his 18th game of the season with knee soreness. I guess it came at a bit of a price.
Yeah, it did, but he's an ageless wonder. How is he still doing this? Honestly, it's amazing. It is simply amazing. I understand why Ja Morant and Jason Tatum can, because they're the future of the league. They're the new blood, but the old man is still getting it done. You know what I mean? He's still getting it done.
Well, it's tied for the third highest scoring game of his career. The most points he's ever scored as a Laker in 4 seasons there. And he's just, it doesn't seem like he's getting old, but his knees said, no, not playing tonight. Sorry. Thanks for your big performance, but you need a day off now.
Yeah. And he does, because unfortunately he's the only one that's playing really well on the Lakers. Like, it's him.
Yeah.
And it's just him.
He became the 4th player in league history to score 50 points or more at the over age 37, oldest player in league history to post a 50-10 game, 37 years, 65 days. The record previously held by the GOAT, Michael Jordan, and that was 33 years, 19 days. So over 4 years older, he got that. The list of players to score 50 plus points at age 37 or older: Jordan, Kobe, Jamal Crawford, and LeBron James.
That's a pretty good list. I don't know how Jamal Crawford got in there. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it must be nice to be a part of that company when that stat comes bringing up. Yeah. I forgot that he had dropped that 50 at that late of an age.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. That's impressive. It's impressive.
And the other thing that he also joined, LeBron also joined Michael Jordan in, was they were the only 2 players in history that have dropped 50 points in a game in 3 different decades. Jordan was 80s, 90s, and the 2000s. LeBron's is the 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Jason Tatum had 54 over the Nets, and the Celtics win 126-120 on Sunday. There's been 11 50-plus point games in the NBA this year. Tatum's the only guy that has more than one, and he tied the immortal Larry Bird with 4 50-point games. That's what Larry had in his career. That kind of shocked me. I thought Larry would have had maybe a dozen or so of those, but Tatum, starting to quite often hit Larry Bird numbers. I'm hearing, some of those comparisons here and there. It's pretty impressive. Tatum is, one of those unstoppable forces right now.
Yeah, well, anytime that you're compared to Larry Legend, you're doing good. You've done something very, very good. And you know what? I think Larry Bird probably would have had more 50-point games if his back had held up, Yeah. And then also too, let's be honest, back in the day when he was playing, hard fouls were a must. You're coming down the lane, you get hit hard.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. The games changed a lot. We're not seeing those types of hard fouls when you're coming through the lane anymore like that. Yeah, you're right. Good, very good point. Tatum's leading the Celtics. Man, they have really turned the season around. 22-8 in 2022. Only Phoenix and Dallas have a better record in 2022. They were 17-19 as the calendar ended, and now they're 39-27 and sit 5th place in the Eastern Conference, just a game and a half back a second. Amazing transformation and turnaround. And Tatum's one of the biggest reasons for sure.
He's one of the biggest reasons. I give a lot of credit to their coach Udoka, managed to get the guys on board with the program. Their defense has went up exponentially in effectiveness and how they're playing the game and how they're defending their opponents from night in and night out. And then also too with Marcus Smart taking the challenge of being the point guard and making the right decisions for the team at critical points in times, and he's doing it. He's making it happen.
And super great, yeah. John Morant set his most points in a game record back-to-back nights and the Grizzlies franchise record. He got 46 against the Chicago Bulls, and then 2 days later he dropped 52 against San Antonio a week tonight. And man, he is just, what a joy to watch. Incredible that he's been able to emerge on the league at his size and being able to be so dominant.
He has that it factor. He has that thing where he's like, well, if I'm going to watch any game, I'm going to watch the Grizzlies because that guy is freaking amazing. He's going to do something jaw-dropping, just defying, you know. Yeah. That in that game where he dropped 52, I believe that was the game he had that dunk on Jakob Poeltl.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was it.
I think I'm going to retire. I think I'm done. I think I'm done with the game. That was vicious.
That was incredible. That's definitely going to be a poster on kids' walls for sure. That was an amazing dunk. That night that he scored 52, he did it on 22 for 30 shooting, perfect 4 for 4 from 3-point range. That amazing poster dunk, and that buzzer beater, half court buzzer beater. Incredible, and it makes me sad to know that we could have him here. Grizzlies would have just stayed. We would have him. We could see him every night live.
Yeah. But unfortunately, we had a certain group of people that wanted to sabotage the team while they were here.
Yeah,
and then that's why we don't have a team. So it would be great if the NBA would gift us with another team, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, well, there was some talk this past week about some NBA expansion to Vegas and possibly Seattle, now that Seattle has their NHL team and a revamped arena. Man, that would be great. And if Seattle can get a team, then it makes logistic sense to have a team just up here a couple hours north of Seattle. I was kind of surprised that Vegas was in the mix. I knew that they always wanted to come back to Seattle, but a possibility of 2 expansion teams coming.
Well, I hope that, first off, number one, I hope that Seattle definitely gets their team back, because I didn't think that they should have lost it in the first place. Yeah. That's number one. And number two, Vegas is going to get a team because Vegas got money.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, true. Hey, yeah. I do want to mention Nikola Jokic's amazing performance last night. 46 points. He scored 30 points in the fourth quarter in overtime, leading his Nuggets to the big win over the Pelicans, 138-130. In 17 minutes, he got 30 points. He got 12 rebounds, 11 assists, 4 blocks, and 3 steals. No one in the history of the NBA has recorded a stat line like that, having that many steals, blocks with a triple-double. That is his 17th triple-double of the season, and he's the reigning MVP. Everybody's talking about Embiid, but he's still throwing himself in that mix, and Denver keeps winning. He might win a back-to-back MVP title.
And he would be deserving of it because, well, first off, we've never seen anybody like him. and he's playing at that elite level, and he's no longer a detriment on defense. In fact, he's a stalwart on defense, and he showed it with those stats of 4 blocks and 3 steals. And he's not fleet of foot, still getting steals.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And I couldn't believe the passes he was dishing off last night too. And you know, it's not just like pick and rolls that we're seeing with Denver. I'm seeing him make elite, incredible passes, and that guy's realizing that Jokic is the best option. So I'm going to make an amazing pass back to him. And he's realizing now that he dishes the ball off, he's probably getting it back too. And it's fun to watch. They've won 10 of their last 12. They're on a really meteoric rise. Porter Jr. is coming back. Hopefully Jamal Murray too. And yeah, this is a team that I really, really enjoy watching them.
I love watching the team, and with this, with Jokic coming into his own now, and then hopefully with Porter Jr. coming back from his back injury and Jamal Murray, and hopefully they can find their stride. I think the Nuggets are going to be good for a very long time, as long as everybody can stay healthy.
Yeah. KD reached 25,000 points. He missed 6 weeks with a sprained MCL in his knee. He's the 23rd player in NBA history to get 25,000 points. But he turned his back on the greatest team in the league, and he went to this dumpster fire in Brooklyn. He kind of deserves this. He would have been able to probably already have a few more rings on his finger if he didn't go there. And, you know, the grass is not always greener on the other side of the fence. He made a big mistake going to Brooklyn. They might not even make the playoffs the way things are going. But yeah, 25,000 points, an amazing career. 23rd player. Only 22 players have ever reached this many points in the NBA history.
Yeah, and he's still got a long ways to go because he's still going to be in the league for a very, very long time. But obviously the reason why he left Golden State was because it wasn't his team. It was Steph Curry's team. And that's a big deal for these guys that are considered the best of the best. It's a lot of ego, and he wanted to create his own thing. But unfortunately, his own thing, we've seen it, has kind of imploded in his face, literally. And hopefully his thing can still maybe be salvageable if that third guy decides to, you know, play. If he decides to play. if he wants to play, maybe if he plays. You know, take his time. He's gonna work. He's working his way into practice form. So yeah.
Yeah, you're so funny. It's amazing, shocking that he's not on the court yet. This is insane. Yeah. When Durant hit his 25,000 and they asked Kyrie after the game, they had a press conference and they were sitting next to each other. Kyrie turned to KD and said, "You're a savant. You're an artist. You're amazing." And KD looked over at Kyrie and said, "I should be at 30,000 right now, to be honest, not 25, 30. And so that was a lot of confidence. Did you catch that? Kyrie was praising.
Didn't catch anything. Please.
Kyrie was praising him for hitting that 25. He called him a savant, called an amazing artist, and he said, come on, I should have already been at 30K by now."
That's all right. Okay, cool. Yeah. Wow. All right. I don't really have anything more to say to that.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Just a quick Raptors update. They've hit another little rough patch here. But Scotty Barnes, amazing pickup by the Raptors. Really been impressed with this kid. Him and Evan Mobley are sort of neck and neck for rookie of the year. And it seems like Nick Nurse keeps giving Scotty more opportunity. He actually started at point guard last night for them. They had Malachi Flynn and Fred VanVleet both hurt. So Scotty was their starting point guard, and he didn't look out of place. Had another great game, and really impressed with this pickup and this kid, the way he plays, and the passion that he seems to bring every night.
Yeah, I love the fact that Nick Nurse is trusting him more and more and giving him more and more roles and responsibilities, and just seeing what he's actually capable of. And it looks like Scotty's kind of capable of anything and everything, whatever the coach wants him to do. And that's awesome to see, because he's just such a versatile player that you can plug and play him into any position. And which is kind of the way that it looks like Nick Nurse is trying to build this team, which is that to have these athletic wing guys all about 6'7", between 6'7", 6'9", and that they're interchangeable. Yep. And the Raptors, I love the way that they compete. They're scrappy, and they'll battle you. They'll battle you right to the bitter end. Yeah.
Raptors seem to be sort of solidified into that 7th position in the Eastern Conference. They dropped one to the Cavaliers the other night that really moved it from 1 game to 3 games deficit. Now Cavaliers have won 3 out of the 4 games this year. So, they have the tiebreaker as well. But the Cavaliers were dealt a blow when Jared Allen broke his finger. That's going to be difficult for them to not have him for a few weeks.
Yeah, that's going to be a difficult thing for them to overcome for sure. It kind of sucks because obviously he is very integral to their defense and to their pick and roll and all that sort of stuff. But they're going to have to make do without him and keep pushing forward.
Luka had a phenomenal game tonight. Dallas beat Utah 111-103, and Luka had 35, 16 and 7, 16 rebounds, season high for him. He's 17th in the league in rebounds, 5th in the league in assists, and 6th in the league in scoring. That's how well-rounded a guy he is, and another joy to watch. And Dallas is rolling along, doing great. Big move with Porzingis out the door, but I think with Dinwiddie, great addition. They seem to be they just seem to be cohesive now and looking good.
No, they're looking great. And also too, Luka has reacted well to Jason Kidd challenging him. And he is now you can tell he's in better shape, and it's paying dividends. He's looking fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, man. Well, we've had, unfortunately, lots of technical difficulties again tonight. Hopefully we can get this sorted out. We don't want that anymore. It's challenging when I don't know what you've heard from me. You're frozen, I'm frozen. It's makes for a challenging conversation, but either we got to do it in the same room or we got to figure out this technical difficulties we have. But anyway, it was a fun podcast as always. Great to get your takes on everything, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Yep, I look forward to seeing you too as well tomorrow. And yes, we will figure this out. Just give us some time.
Okay. Good night, man. Cheers. Take care.
Good night.
All right.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay. We've reached the end of another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. Thanks for sticking in and getting through this technical issues. Hopefully we can figure this out, because there's not a lot of frozen stuff again. Anyway, thanks again for all your support. I do want to just talk about our partners and sponsors real quick. We've got Anchor, phenomenal at being a great partner and sponsor. They are really good at posting on multiple podcast platforms for us. The easiest place to make a podcast, just go to anchor.fm. Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, industry leader in technology, performance, and value. And yeah, just go over to our website, purchase some products, really good prices. Pampas and Possibilities, they design and sell dried florals, do floral arrangements and installations. They have great handmade, curated, beautiful things with West Coast vibes at great, reasonable prices. And of course, last but not least, Forever Living, the aloe vera company. They grow and manufacture aloe vera based products for health and beauty. So thanks again for our partners and sponsors as always. And yeah, we appreciate your support. Go to our website, completemedianetwork.com or completesportsmedia.com. Tons of great content there as always. And hope you have guys have a really great week ahead. And yeah, lots of exciting things coming. So yeah, check in daily. Thanks a lot. Enjoy your evening and take care. Have a great week ahead. Bye for now.